So it is Sunday morning, perhaps one of my favourite times of the week when there is the promise of a full day of relaxation ahead. It's peaceful and quiet, and I know that I've got nothing else to do but relax and enjoy myself. I've woken up this morning with a craving for blueberry muffins, and I was going to pop ahead to my local bakery to get some, but then I thought that it would be very nice to start the day with a very relaxing activity of peaceful baking here in the kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and make these muffins myself. I have all the ingredients here at home, including the blueberries, which are one of my favourite fruits. I have them with my porridge or with some cereal in the morning, and so I'm going to make them now. So to begin, I have this bowl of flour, which is quite a lot, and to it I'm going to add some caster or superfine sugar and some baking powder. And I'm just going to mix this together, just so that it's all incorporated and evenly distributed with the flour. And then I'm just going to pop this to one side. And now here I've got a little jug of milk, and to it I'm going to add some olive oil and 2 eggs. Baking in the morning is just so therapeutic for me. I find it very relaxing. Well, that's if everything goes well, but I'm sure it will. Muffins are very easy. So I'm just going to lightly whisk these all together until they're fully combined together, just like our flour mixture. Give it a good beat. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this liquid to our dry ingredients. And then with my balloon whisk, I'm going to incorporate it all together. This isn't a huge bowl, so I have to be careful not to get it everywhere, but I really just wanted to, on this very peaceful morning, not use any electric whisk and just do everything by hand. I don't want to wake up the neighbours, even though it's not too noisy, but even just for myself, it's more peaceful to do it this way. So I'm going very slow, and I'm just going to whisk this all together until it's combined. That looks good. So now I'm going to add in all of our blueberries. I'm using quite a lot because there's nothing worse than when you have a blueberry muffin and you open it up and it's just got hardly any blueberries in. So I like to have a lot. And then to finish off, I'm just going to take a lemon and we're going to zest it into the bowl. And I like to do it over the bowl because then you get all of the extra juice and fragrance from the lemon. Now I'm just mixing the blueberries into the batter, but I'm being very careful not to overwork the mixture. You don't want to overwork it. You want very beautiful light muffins. It's just a case of getting it into the batter so that they're evenly distributed into each muffin when you separate them into the muffin tin. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. It's quite well distributed, and we're ready to get this into the baking tin. So although I had all of the ingredients here at home, one of the things that I didn't have were muffin cases. So I decided to just make my own out of parchment paper. It's very, very easy. All that you do is you measure out 5-inch square pieces of parchment paper, and then you get a glass that fits inside these spaces here. You turn it over, you put the parchment paper over the top, and just twist it around, and then you pop them into there. It's so easy, and I actually prefer these cases to the more formal, elegant ones. I think the haphazardness of them just makes them even more charming. So now I'm going to use my ice cream scoop, and we're going to fill the cases with the batter. So I'm not adding too much. You don't want to overfill them. These are not the deepest cases, and they will rise. So I'm just putting a little bit in, pressing down. I think These are going to be very delicious because there's lots of blueberries in them. I'm just making 12 today, and if I have lots of the batter left over, you can freeze it and you can use it for another day, so that when you wake up on another beautiful, relaxing Sunday morning and you don't want to have the hassle of getting all this prepared, you've got some ready in the freezer. Because after all, Sunday mornings should be easy. And actually what I've found is that I've used all of the batter, perfectly measured out. Just going to add a little bit more to the ones that are missing out on perhaps a little bit of batter, but I think this looks pretty good. Now to finish off, I'm going to take some of this Demerara sugar and just sprinkle over, quite lightly, the muffins. This will give them a nice golden, crispy finish. And I'm hoping that they'll turn out very well. Okay, these are going to go into the oven at 180 for 25 minutes, and then we'll see how they've turned out. Well, I have to say, I'm really delighted with how the muffins have turned out. They've risen really well, and they're just filled with blueberries. Lots of the blueberries have burst and it's all gooey and delicious. So the only thing left to do now is to try one. This is the perfect Sunday morning breakfast. And if you would like the full recipe for these muffins, just head to my blog, www.nicolasfairford.com. The sun has finally decided to grace Edinburgh with its presence. It's been at least 3 weeks since the sun has come out, so I've just decided that I'm going to do a few things at home today. Now, I know that viewers of this channel are going to kill me when I tell you this, but I've decided to repaint my front door again. Now don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch the whole process. I've already done 2 videos where I paint the door, and I know that it will become tiresome, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint it without filming it. I will show you the end result. And the reason why I've decided to repaint the door again is because the colour that I used last time was wall paint, and as a lot of people commented at the time, it probably wasn't going to withstand the weather, but I just wanted to get it done very quickly, so that was what I did, and that was about 2 months ago, and since then the paint has started to crack, and with the weather that we've had, lots of rain and then scorching sunshine, there's lots of marks and cracks on it, so looks awful, so I wanted to get that done. I've chosen a colour by Farrow & Ball called Banca, I believe, spelled B-A-N-C-H-A. It's either Banca or Bancha, I think Banca. And it's a really rich, bright green, and I've gone for a high gloss. So I'm going to paint the front door with that. I think it will just add a real pop of colour to the door, and with the gold door furniture it will look pretty cool. And then my garden is looking a real mess. I was away in Greece, and then I went to my sister's house, and whilst I was away, we had a very, very hot period, and nearly all of my topiaries died. And then the rest of my potted window boxes also died, and they're all brown and dead. And then I've also, because we've had a lot of rain, had an influx of weeds, so I need to really tidy up the garden and make it look a little bit better, because every time I walk out the door, it's bringing me down looking at all of the mess. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tidy up, repaint the door, and hopefully that will spruce the garden up a little bit. So I think that sometimes it can appear as though people like me who have YouTube channels and Instagram accounts sharing beautiful pictures have perfect lives and nothing is ever untidy. So this garden is really debustifying that myth because it is looking in a complete state. As I mentioned before, my topiaries, most of them are dead and brown. There is a box here which was a delivery that I had while I was away of a hamper, and the delivery man left it here on the bench and a fox has attacked it. I presume it's a fox because all of the food inside has been consumed and there is all of the contents of the box on the floor, but they left the bottle of wine, so the fox wasn't into rosé. But yeah, so that is a mess that I have to tidy up. And then over here we have the contents of a makeup bag, which I don't know how it is there, but there are brushes, foundation brushes, mascara, a hairbrush, a face cream. So I imagine that someone has had a very fun evening out in Edinburgh and has stumbled home and dropped their makeup bag and it's landed here in the garden. So it is looking a real mess. This is Instagram versus reality at its best. So it's time for me to tidy up and get this place in order a little bit. Even though that was not an enjoyable task in the end, all of those little bits of straw were really getting on my nerves because they wouldn't get swept up by the sweeping brush. And it just seemed like they were endless, but they have all been cleaned. Everything is tidy again. The garden is once again a blank canvas, so I think the next few days I'm going to have to go out and buy some new plants, get some new pots for things. These hydrangeas were dead when I got back, but I trimmed them back. And after a bit of rain, they are starting to come back. So they look okay. So the garden is a lot better now, and I can actually walk out the door without feeling miserable. So that is a good thing. And I absolutely love my new front door.